I literally said last video that I would prefer Michael Penix to have a clean slate and not start during this chaotic season, but I feel like you got to start him at this point. Your quarterback during a 4-game stretch cannot have 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and be 0-4 during that time. Any other quarterback does that in any other team is getting benched regardless of how much they make. Michael Penix, suit the fuck up, buddy. You're playing next week. Man, they tried to write us off, but we're right back. And we'll get to next week in a bit. 3 days ago, I made a video talking about Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. Basically, I said the Atlanta Falcons have a lot of problems. Kirk is part of the problem, and the pass rush is also a problem. But when the pass rush and the defense do somewhat well in a game, and then the offense just decides to shit themselves, then we might have like a small little problem. I gave Kirk one more chance. He was gonna play against his old team, the Minnesota Vikings. I wanted perfection out of him. No interceptions. I wanted him to beat down the Vikings like they were nothing. What did I get?
What are you doing? What are you doing? No! 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 No!
The entire team was ass. The offense was ass. The special teams was ass. The defense was ass. Jesus Christ. It was worse than the Chargers game. I had to rewatch the game because I was at work, and I rewatched the game willingly, and I knew the result, but I was like, I don't think I could watch like the NFL highlights and come away and be like genuine about it. I have to see the entire game to see what happened. I guess I'll just start with Kirk. Kirk, there's this this is why I watched the entire game and not the highlights video, because I would not have caught this if I did not watch the full game. In like the second quarter with like 14 minutes left, the commentator was talking about how Kirk throughout his career has been absolutely resilient. Quick little side note here. I know, I'll get to the point. I just found out Greg Olsen looks like Dexter Morgan. I just found that very interesting. When I was watching the game, I was like, damn, I have not noticed that. He really does look like Dexter Morgan. He brought up times where Kirk, such as Kirk being in college at Michigan and being buried in the depth chart and waiting for his chance, and he did that again in Washington when Washington had RG3. The commentator was saying they have no question he can bounce back. And you want to know what happened right after the commentator said all of that?
Question, he bounced back. Blitz picked up by Robinson, so Cousins has time, but he's picked off.
These two, man. Come on, man.
It was like 3 in the morning when I was watching the entire game. I laughed. I laughed so hard. You could not have scripted that any better than how it came out. I guess the thing that fucked us over more than Kirk Cousins was the amount of flags that we were getting. We actually stopped the Vikings. They made the field goal, so they were up 10-7, but the Falcons were holding during the field goal, or I don't know what happened. They showed the replay. One of the Falcons big old guys trying to get through the line for the field goal was holding, or he was like pushing him down or whatever. I don't know what happened. I want to say it was a bullshit penalty, but I understand where it came from. He literally had like 3 dudes like on the ground. He like belly flopped on the ground, brought 3 other dudes with him. So that gave the Vikings a new set of downs, and then Justin Jefferson scored a touchdown.
All these diamonds in my chains got me dancing around this bitch.
And the amount of penalties were just absolutely killing us. We had an 8-yard rush in the red zone, and that got negated by a penalty flag. So instead of gaining that 8 yards in the red zone, it turned into a 1st and 18. So that was really great. I think during this game, I think the Falcons got the most yards on flags in the entire season. So this could not have been worse timed. Nearing the end of the second quarter, Kirk Cousins ran the ball. Where the fuck was this during the Chargers game when you floated the ball onto 3 Charger players? I know Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles, so he can't really do all that type of movement and shit like that, but the last thing I expected in this game was to see Kirk Cousins run the ball. And then I was at work, so I couldn't actually watch the game. So I was like, I had like the ESPN app or whatever, or the real app. I saw that the Falcons were on the 2-yard line, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get a touchdown. We're great. Everything's gonna be fine during halftime. We're keeping up with pace with the Vikings, so we have a decently good chance. They don't even get a touchdown.
Are you telling me I need to root for that?
So instead of the score being 14-14 going into halftime, it's 10-14. Zach Robinson, the Falcons offensive coordinator, stop overthinking it. Just run the ball in the inside, straight at the beefy men. Do not run on the outside. Do not do no passes. Just run the ball in the inside. Why the fuck was this just not called? Why? You're at the 2-yard line. Just run the ball at the big people. And then we have the dumbest play the Falcons have allowed in the entire season. Or it might not even be the dumbest play of the season, because there's another play that I have in mind.
On his feet, now on the move, floats it to the end zone, caught!
It is the third quarter, 3 minutes left or whatever. Falcons are pressuring Sam Darnold. During these rare times, we have to take advantage of this. The pass rush is actually alive. We have two guys running at Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is absolutely juking the shit out of them, but we're pressuring him, so that is a good thing. And Sam Darnold gets out of it, throws it up. And what comes out of this pass is Justin Jefferson being wide ass open. And the defender that was on him, I guess, or I don't know, there's some type of miscommunication or some shit, but he just slips and Justin Jefferson just walks his way in for a touchdown.
All these diamonds in my chains got me dancing around this bitch.
I don't know what happened. And the guy, D. Alford, had a rough ass time that entire game. The Vikings targeted him 7 times. They got 7 receptions for 127 yards and 4 touchdowns. So Sam Darnold threw a perfect game against D. Alford. Congratulations, D. Alford. This was probably the worst game that D. Alford has ever had in his life. At the end of the third quarter, it was 21-21. So we were keeping pace with them. All we had to do was just have the defense come in clutch. So instead of the defense doing that and everyone else doing their part, everyone collapses and we get absolutely ass whooped in the fourth quarter. So the Vikings score, so it's 28-21. It is time for the offense to respond to that. Instead of that ever happening,
Ray McLeod has had a big day in the return gear in the receiving game. Fumbles it right here.
Ray McLeod fumbles the ball and gives the ball right back to the Vikings. And then the Vikings score 35-21. And Kirk Cousins said after the game, he said, I was encouraged when it was 21-21. Felt good about it. The next time I touched the ball, it was 35-21. I understand where Kirk is coming from. It's really probably fucking annoying that you think you're about to go on the field, you put on the helmet, next thing you know, the special teams fumbles the ball. I get it. You cannot say this and then throw a fucking stupid interception the next drive.
5. Cousins got rid of it right before he was hit. Byron Murphy with a one-handed pick.
Shouldn't have been picked off, first of all. All he had to do was just throw it more in the middle of the field instead of throwing it out of Kyle Pitts' range for some reason. Second interception ends the game. I was right. Sam Darnold cooked the shit out of us. He threw for 347 yards and threw for 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Justin Jefferson cooked the shit out of us. 132 yards, 2 touchdowns.
All these diamonds in my chains got me dancing around this bitch.
I completely forgot about Addison. 133 yards and had 3 touchdowns. We got our backs blown out by both of their main wide receivers. Your starting quarterback, I don't think it matters how much you are giving that player. If they're playing like absolute ass during a certain like stretch of games, he lost 4 games straight after being 6-3. Kirk Cousins has thrown 0 touchdowns during these 4 games and has thrown 8 interceptions during these 4 games. You kind of have to switch something up. Michael Penix, he has to start next game. He absolutely has to. There's no excuse. Put Penix in or put me in or something. I don't know. There is a looming threat coming on to next week, and that looming threat is the Oakland Raiders. Wait, they're not even Oakland. Is the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, they are absolutely ass. But Desmond Ridder, the quarterback that we drafted and that we traded away because we were going to get Kirk Cousins, he would be the starting quarterback for that game. It will be the most Falcon shit ever that we allow Desmond Ridder to beat us. And we're going to have every household in America watching us. So please, this is not even a message to Kirk Cousins. This is a message to the entire fucking team. Do not even think that it is okay to lose against Desmond Ridder in front of every single American in this country. If we lose against Desmond Ridder next week, I'm tapping out. It's too much for me. Please, I'm literally doing the same shit that I did last video. Do not lose against Desmond Ridder. Please do not do this. Do not do this. Do not do this.